Every child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. Many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of home, his hope would disappoint him and he would remain alone. But then the curse began to whisper in his ear. It would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear. The moment when Amumu realized what he had done, too late it was for him, for them, the evil.
Welcome everyone to the final match of this evening. This is going to be Zenigma Shadowfire versus Tactical Inting. This is the AMO hosting yet again, and we have the one of the MVPs from the last match, Brewer. You signed up to cast before you played, so it's not a perk for playing well, but hopefully you'll be a lot high spirited to get this this match going.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good series.
So this is down in the Demacia division, which is an average silver ELO for both the teams. As we have the pick band, they're ready to go, so they've started that bag up. Anything you want to see out of these teams in this pick band?
So I think there's going to be a few picks that are going to be really contested, either through bans or picks. I think both teams are going to have a high priority on Seraphine, on Amumu, and on Ashe. And I think, what do all those picks have in common? They all team fight really well, and they all have simple engage. So I think that's what both teams are going to try to go for, is get their 5v5 team fight, get that easy engage, and I would not be surprised to see those picks either banned or like first pick away right now.
As you do see some of the bans coming out, just sort of touch base on, and I mean, you play up in the Iona division, so Demacia division is pretty drastically different just kind of in general. But what are some key things that these teams can do to, have as much success as you did earlier today?
Yeah, I think no matter what division you're in, no matter what skill level you're at, the most important thing to being able to succeed is identifying what your team strengths are and what your game plan needs to be. And I mean, for our team, we team fight really well when we're in a good position, so that's kind of our strength. And I think that's what both of these teams' strengths are as well. So you're seeing things like the Shin is banned, the Malphite's banned, the Diana's banned, even the Lux. They all team fight really well. The Malphite Diana especially. So I think both teams recognize that's what they're going for, so they're trying to deny the other team the opportunity to get a leg up in that kind of team fight phase. I would not be surprised if either a Mumu or Seraphine is first picked right here. Maybe even the Ashe, potentially.
As we have more jungler bands coming out with the Xin Zhao and the Rammus. So a lot of buttons. And there you said the Seraphine. There's the hover in the first pick. So she's been extremely strong coming out as a new champion, just like most of them do.
She's strong at every level from Demacia in Casual Esports Amateur League to the Pro Play level. I mean, very strong pick. And interesting to note is, for Zenigma, their mid laner is actually the player who's played it. So it is a flex pick for their team. So we need to watch and see where they decide to end up putting it.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we may have a Pantheon. So we saw the long-range engage for Pantheon coming out and doing very stellar well as the Kai'Sa 80 carry. Yep. Pretty, standard overall good champions. Doesn't commit to one style of team comp yet.
Right, the Pantheon as well is really like a quadra flex pick. You can really put it everywhere but where the Kai'Sa's going. And I know that AJT, however you pronounce that one, their mid laner, he has played it in one of their games. So it might be where it goes, but once again, it's a strong flex pick, and you're getting the Galio answer. That, I mean, even still, those could both flex between mid and support. I actually think that's going to be a Galio support because they've ran Galio support with a Misfortune before, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't grab that. And at that point, you've just locked down your team fight. It would be really hard to draft anything that can match for the other team. And
I like how you brought up the Misfortune. There are two other teams in this division that have 80 carries whose main 80 carry is Misfortune, and there it is, the Misfortune pick. So each division, I think, is pretty interesting how they all have their own little metas, and Misfortune in Demacia has always been known as like one of the go-to 80 carries. Yeah, I mean, what ADC offers a better ultimate just to like overload the team fight? And even if the Seraphine doesn't end up pairing with Misfortune in the lane, the team fights are just too strong. And I think the Amumu is actually a really good answer here because team fights really well, gives you a bit of an option to kind of fight back in that way. And if the Amumu could get onto the Misfortune or the Seraphine before they get onto his team, it can deny them the opportunity to even get their combo. So we have more bans coming out here, and I think there's going to be a lot of top lane bans, don't you think? Yeah, I think there definitely will be some top lane bans. It'll be interesting to see what they go for. You know, with the Malphite already being banned, that's kind of the premier team fight pick. You might see, I don't know, Ornn's always a strong pick in these kind of situations. Maybe ban that one away. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they go for. Zyra banned, so they are looking to kind of pinch that support pool for tactical inting. So I wonder if they got rid of the Lux. Is this the? I believe this is the team that runs the mage support bot lane a lot. So yeah, it makes sense. You have the Lux and the Zyra bands coming out against that player. The Volibear top, another top jungle possible combo, and another.
Yeah, if you're planning on running the Galio support, which is what I think they're going to end up doing, you don't want him to be into, even though like if you get onto the Zyra, he becomes the killer. That'd be really difficult as a melee champion, is just to deal with that poke either from the Zyra or the Lux. So I think those are intelligent bans.
Okay, final picks coming in here. We have a chance for INT, the lockup 1 position. Do you have a preference? And okay, so they had basically their, I guess because you can flex the Pantheon anywhere, you can just pick Karma, and now you can have Karma mid, and now all the flexibility is still open for them.
Yeah, typically, I think it's smart for them to hold that last pick for top lane since it hasn't been picked yet, and it's pretty obvious that the mid lane will be either the Seraphine or the Galio. And I think they'll end up putting the Pantheon mid. So I think it is smart to hold that last pick top lane, especially once they banned out a couple picks. Now they're probably certain they can get a good matchup. But the Skarner, I mean, another good pick. The Skarner can get in there, can kind of deliver the Galio. Because that is the one thing they were lacking. Is there's no one to deliver the Galio right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to see another top player that can kind of do that as well.
See what they do here. Time's ticking.
Vagar, I wonder if that was a misclick or...
Gnar.
They said it's Gnar.
Yep.
Gnar, actually.
Gnar.
I think that's actually it's a good pick. Gnar's really strong right now. I mean, it's not like there aren't counter picks that could be selected on the side of INT, but I do think the Gnar's smart, and the Gnar just adds to that team fight. And he can kind of jump in there and deliver the Galio. If you add the Gnar ult plus the Galio ult, you're not moving anytime soon.
Oh, okay. Let's see what INT comes in to pick up here. Is there Quinn?
Quinn. Okay.
So
I will admit, yeah, I'm not the best top laner. I don't know all the matchups, but you have to think Quinn wins almost every matchup in that one-on-one early game, so they're definitely going to try to get ahead of that Gnar, but I don't love the pick as a whole because I think it doesn't bring that same team fight presence that your Mumu is. So it'll be interesting to see how they can utilize it.
yeah, I think that in mini form, I mean, Quinn still outranges the Gnar, so Gnar can't use that range advantage. Does have a better team fighting opportunity than the Quinn, but with the Pantheon ults to kind of counter the Galio ults, unless Pantheon is mid lane, and well, I think it all depends on the mid lane support, right? You have both teams can be flexing both those champions around. Is there a combo if you're one team you definitely want to see over another?
I don't know. I definitely think the Galio in the support position is strong, especially if their team has won with that. I actually think the Seraphine into the Pantheon's better because, Galio is a very strong pick. I played him in my last game. I love the pick, but into an AD mid like Pantheon, that could be pretty difficult for him. And I think both teams kind of have a clear win condition. Zenigma drafted the best team fight you can kind of think of, honestly. Not very many picks you'd want to replace for a team fight comp. So they want the 5v5. And, I think Tactical Inting could have kind of tried to opt into that and match it, but they may have recognized we're going to struggle to match it, so let's go for the Quinn. And you're right, if the Quinn can get ahead of the Gnar and apply side lane pressure, you have the threat of the Pantheon ulting over to help her, things like that, but it will be pretty crucial for this Quinn to get ahead.
There's going to be a lot of, physical damage coming outside of INT. It's going to pretty direct Zenigma's fire. So, oh my gosh, their name is like a whole bunch of names smushed together.
Yeah.
Their builds, right? Like it's going to be pretty much just build armor, that sort of thing. Do you think Amumu or Karma are going to have to, go a little bit more offensive instead of, utility and damage?
No, not necessarily. I think the Pantheon through his ultimate does get a lot of armor penetration. The Quinn, obviously itemizing armor against Quinn is really effective, but even then the Kaisa will still do a pretty good amount of damage. And I think what the Amumu should do is, I think kind of the standard build is like the Sunfire into the Demonic Embrace, and that does bring some damage. And the Karma, I think Karma will probably do the Moonstone, the really strong Moonstone Water Staff build potentially. And even that would then give your Amumu a little bit of ability power when you're buffing him up. So I don't think there's necessarily going to be a lack of damage on either side. I think it's just going to mostly come down to if the Queen can get ahead and if Zenigma can just find their team fights.
So for Zenigma, real quick, I mean we touched a little bit on the top lane here and how it's going to be kind of Queen favored unless Gnar is going to be able to use the Mega Gnar to really get in on Quinn to get some damage in. How do you think this Skarner or Mumu matchup is going to go?
I think that'll be an interesting one. Honestly, I think, if the Skarner finds... Skarner is just stronger than Mumu right now in general, but Amumu does still obviously bring his team fight, but if the Skarner finds the Amumu in a one-on-one, I definitely think he will win that. And so I think both junglers will probably head towards the top lane. I think everyone in this game is going to recognize that is kind of the critical matchup. And the 2-on-2, on the other hand, while the 1-on-1 is definitely Skarner favorite, I think the 2-on-2 can go the way of the Quinn and the Amumu. So I think that's going to be critical. It'll also be critical for Seraphine and Pantheon to be fighting over mid lane wave control, because if both junglers do path that same direction, the Scuttle Crab will be in a very important fight. So it'll be important for those mid laners to try to get control of that wave to be able to help. But I mean, Pantheon Quinn plus the Amumu, I mean, that is a strong 3-on-3. Amumu's going to have good gank options, I think, especially with Pantheon. That's just pretty free, and he does his point-click W to lock him down. So I think the Amumu's not so worried about the one-on-one with the Skarner. He's just worried about getting good ganks, then getting to the team fight stage.
So, mid lane, Seraphine versus Pantheon. You sort of touched on it a little bit here, but as a mid laner yourself, is there one something you want to see out of this this lane?
Yeah, Seraphine is one of the strongest mid laners right now, at least in solo queue, and I do think she's really strong. She has a good laning phase. Her ultimate, I mean, that's the main thing. I think she's also succeeding from the fact that Moonstaff, the Moonstone Renewer plus the Staff of Pouring Water is such a strong combination. I think that's partly why she's succeeding so well. But Pantheon in its own right is a very strong champion right now. And while Seraphine does have the range advantage, Pantheon can definitely threaten her. But if anything, I think this is one of Pantheon's worst matchups just because of the range advantage. And Pantheon, in a way, kind of has to walk right at you, kind of straightforward to get his W off. So the double empowered E from Seraphine's really strong in this situation. The movement speed of the shield from the W lets her kind of get away. The sustain from the empowered W lets her kind of sustain up. But if she does miss position ever, the Pantheon can definitely get on you real fast and kill you pretty easily. So that would be pretty critical for her to sustain. But I don't think Pantheon's looking to just smash one-on-one. He's looking to get ahead or try to get control of the lane and then rotate either to help his jungler or to go to a side.
So one of the side lane opportunities is this Misfortune and Galio versus Kaisa versus Karma.
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting matchup. I think both teams are probably happy with their bot lane. The Misfortune Galio, pretty clear what they're trying to do. And they definitely have strong pressure early, but I think the Karma was an intelligent pick. The shields will be really nice, both in lane and in the later game, as well as having the range and the damage to actually threaten the Galio early on. The Galio is going to have to be careful. If he takes too much poke from the Karma, I think the Kaisa and the Karma could actually go for like a 2-on-2 kill.
So we have less than a minute here going in. Do you see any level 1 shenanigans?
Ooh, that's a good point. I think, I'm personally not the biggest fan of like level 1 shenanigans, but I think the teams could definitely go for it. The Pantheon, depending on what ability he starts, is very strong on the invade. The Karma has her empowered Q at level 1. It's a lot of damage. But, if you walk into a Galio and he takes the right ability, it's going to be difficult, as well as Misfortune is pretty strong, and the Seraphine has an empowered ability at level 1. And if it's the E, it could root everyone on your team. So you got to be a little bit careful of that. We might see an invade, but I also would not be surprised if both teams don't disrespect each other and kind of just spread out.
Okay, so we're going to do our final transition here into the game, and hopefully, no.
Yeah, I will say. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I will say one thing to track is, so Tactical Inting, they've played 2 matches thus far, whereas Zenigma, this is only their second match. They're 2-0, Tactical Inting is 2-2. And in Tactical Inting's Week 1 match, they looked really, really strong. But they did falter a bit in Week 2. But one of the big things was Danny, their jungler, in both their wins Week 1 was on the Amumu, and he was denied that pick their second match. So him back on, I think, probably one of his more comfort picks is going to be very important to watch. And I think they really got to try to get Danny involved because, if you look across the divisions, no matter at what level, generally the jungler is going to have a very high kill participation. But Danny actually has the lowest on his team. It's significantly lower than the rest of his team. It was only 37.9% when the rest of his team was kind of in that 50% range. So they definitely need to find a way to get him involved, whether it's through setting up ganks for him, trying to play safer until he can get there. But that is one thing that I did notice that kind of stood out to me.
So real quick, we all run down the lineups here. So on the side of Zenigma, Shadowfire, we have Gorkal up in the top lane on the Gnar. Memphis to Philios? I don't know. Skarner, jungle. Vidra on the Seraphine mid lane. Slap that Ashe on the Misfortune 80 carry. Only plays trees. Sadly, not playing a tree, but playing the Galio support. Bob's a cell. Bob as cell. Oh my gosh. I wish these people have nice, easy names to pronounce, like Danny Raboy on the Moo jungle. That one's really easy. Actual 34 on the Pantheon mid lane. Classic Nut, not the Crazy Nut. He's in a different division. Classic Nut is the 80 carry on the Kaisa here. And Morosa on the support Karma. So Pantheon's going in for the invade.
I think the Misfortune will be able to spot this one out and get away. Oh.
Nope.
A little slow.
Oh, Pantheon. There's the stun. Flash. No follow-up. Okay, one flash down.
Yeah, getting the flash is big. I mean, you know, you could say they probably could have gotten the kill, but at that point, Amumu would have to really mess up his own clear by like starting Q or something. I don't think that's really worth it. Just getting the flash alone gives you an easy gank, as well as Misfortune's got to play really safe in this lane, because if the Karma lands one empowered Q on you and then speeds up the Kaisa, they can really start to run her down.
Real quick, that is a Conqueror on Amumu.
Yeah, you know, that was definitely getting picked a lot earlier in the preseason when he was really, really strong, like one of the best junglers. I think it's still playable. You obviously have like the tankier option, but you know, if he feels like he's going to get inside the middle of that team fight and proc the Conqueror, it makes him a bit more of a threat. And if he goes for like the Demonic Embrace second item, which I think he will, it can be pretty hard to deal with him.
He also starting on the red buff.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. I think, you know, they probably could tell that's where he started when the Quinn's late to lane, but generally you would have expected him to start on the bot side and path towards the top lane. But what that might be indicating to me is, hey, we blew Misfortune's flash. That's where I'm pathing now, even if that wasn't the original game plan.
Well, he's going for a full clear, so he's going red to Krugs, so he'll get down to that bot lane eventually. Skarner has actually gone red to blue, not stopping at any other camp, so definitely interesting. Maybe he wants to try and mirror the pathing now?
Maybe. I mean, that might say he's trying to get top lane early to do something. So I think Quinn should hopefully... Don't think she's used her wards yet. If she hasn't, you'd like her to ward the river pretty soon, just so she doesn't get surprised by a Skarner gank. If the Quinn dies once, it can start looking pretty rough, and Skarner's heading top.
Yeah, Quinn not a chance to get drowned, and she's laying down all of her autos. Gnar's going to bounce his way in here. It's now a 1v3. There's First Blood with the help of Ignite. He's going to have to flash on them out of here, trying to finish off this Skarner. There's the blind coming off Cannon. We have enough Qs coming outside of Skarner. Speed up under tower, no. And there's the Vault Breaker. Bruce, one more auto flashing out. Is Skarner not enough? There's the, nope, Valor. Not going to get health in. Skarner lived with under 20 health left. As Pantheon... under tower, drops the Ignite.
Oh, close. That was really well played by the Quinn to recognize with her Ignite, she could just go straight onto the Gnar instead of just trying to bail. I didn't actually see that coming because I didn't notice the Ignite pick until the gank started, but really well played by Bob.
And just like a normal Seal game, we have instant kills, deaths, and our caster predictions of junglers, where they're going to go, is completely wrong. Although, if you can beat Tacos predicting the dragons tonight, you can win a prize.
Oh dang! We should watch a Mumu here because he cleared down as we saw and said, "Forget my camps." He's running immediately top lane.
Gnar did not burn flash in that gank to help his gank. Vault Breaker in, one more auto, and Bunny Hop on the way out.
Yeah, I think his top laner probably called him up there to say, hey, can you help me push this wave so I can get a back off? But at the same time, bit of an inefficient pathing because didn't clear those bot side camps and he has not gotten a Scuttle Crab yet. So hopefully he'll recognize and go for maybe the Scuttle Crab on the top side, but it's looking like he's just going back instead.
Yeah, Skarner playing safe, went to the bottom Scuttle Crab, hoping to try and pick that one up, and did pick that one up. Got a good pink ward in as well.
One thing to note is the Seraphine went for the phase rush this game, which, you know, typically I think they would go for like the airy or maybe even the comet, but typically the airy. So phase rush is interesting.
Well, trying to get that movement speed and sticking away from the, like, you know, the speed up maybe covers. Oh, taunt in by the Galio. Nope, not enough to get anything real done there, but good try.
Yeah, we had, looks like the first Drake is an Infernal Drake, so that will be good for either team to grab up. You know, I'd like to see maybe even the blue team, Zenigma, kind of look for that early because they do have the bot lane pressure. You said you do risk the Pantheon, that's the only thing, potentially. But if they can shove both mid and bot, I would love to see them go for an early Dragon with Skarner.
Oh my gosh, just Seraphine's abilities sometimes, they're so pretty.
Yeah. I would go for annoying, but
well,
they do look good at least when they're annoying you.
Yeah. As she's laying down the E's and the Q's to finish it off, and you know Pantheon's taking a lot of poke damage, and he doesn't have any potions left.
No, he doesn't, and he has a pretty considerable CS lead though, so that is one thing going for him. It's going well for him. But he does have his 6 as well, so I would think he'd like to maybe get a reset off and look for either to shove mid and then ult or just go straight for a gank. Because with the bot lane playing so far up, a back into a half bot lane for an ultimate could work out pretty well.
And, well, he's just going to die the Skarner gank here.
Yeah.
Push too far.
The low health and no pots just did overstay a little bit there, and you're seeing the power of the Seraphine ult. If anyone CC'd, you can't miss it, and then you're just charmed forever.
Yeah, well, Gnar gets off a full ult combo here onto the Quinn, but not enough damage as Quinn, with the help of the Vamp Scepter, staved alive in that one as Amumu's going to take the Gromp there right in front of the enemy team. I think they're going to start up the Dragon. Now, Pantheon does have ult for this.
Yeah, he could arrive. The Amumu not being 6 yet is critical, but if the Pantheon arrives, I think they can win it.
There's no ults on anyone here yet, as Pantheon is the only one to come in, and down goes. It looks like Karma actually steals the Dragon with an empowered Q, as Pantheon's trying to finish that one off, as Amumu's going to help finish off the Skarner. Just a split decision as Shadowfire just sort of left Skarner to try and get the Dragon by himself and didn't have Smite. Smite was not up.
Yeah, that was nice steal by the Karma, and that was smart of AJT, the Pantheon, to recognize when he ulted in that jumping on the Skarner there was the correct play.
And the fact that no one else was 6 other than the 2 mid laners, and Seraphine had already used the ult in the mid lane, meant that I think that really gave the advantage over to, Tactical Inting.
Right. Yeah, if the Seraphine had the ultimate there, that's a very different fight. But
or even the
or
even the Misfortune ultimate, right? Like,
yeah. Because the Misfortune ult, even without CC, can still be just a great zoning tool.
Seraphine took all of that damage. Now, hasn't been able to back after picking up that kill. So, out of mana, out of health, because it went over that Dragon. Never got the reset after getting the assist. So, Pantheon still in control of this lane, even though after being ganked.
Top lane, we got some action.
And same with mid lane, as Skarner probably just going to pull the Pantheon in under tower here. Nope. Just going to let him walk out.
I'm surprised he didn't ult there with the Pantheon being such low mana, but he might want to make sure he gets a good one off. But I do think we'll see some more action top lane. I would honestly like to see Skarner go top lane and just potentially just flash ult the Quinn or something like that.
Now Quinn has definitely played push back after getting the first kill, and the second one here is definitely trying to say Vault Breaker's in, trying to lay down the damage, and here comes the Skarner, and there's the pull. He did do the flash pull as Nar's actually burnt, and there's the slow coming out. It looks like she's just going to drop down here, shut down gold over to Nar, get this little Yordle back into the match.
Yeah, that was a good gank. I'm talking about it. Even though the Quinn was beating up on the Gnar pretty well on her own, it's just you can't really do anything when the Skarner flash ults you and you're a squishy character.
Did burn the flash to try and escape. Wasn't able to, though, for that matchup. It looks like Skarner and Gnar, they're going to be doing the Rift Herald now with control of the top lane. But Amumu is going to be coming over here with the help of Pantheon. Quinn is 8. She can't come in. Ooh, took the Spire away from Skarner. I think that... Nice Seraphine ultimate. And block damage, though, on Pantheon on that. And Amumu's going to go in with the combo, get the Bantosh into the ultimate to slow everyone down. Everyone's going to step aside. Gnar's going to actually bunny hop his way in there. His Flash comes out on the side of Pantheon. His Misfortune and Nautilus have roamed their way up. Amumu trying to walk away from the rest of the team. Quinn will help blast cones him to safety as the bot lane showed up to help secure, the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I think that was smart of the bot lane with Misfortune and the Galio to roam up there to just guarantee their team gets it, but be interesting to see what they look to do with the Rift Herald. There's 3.5 more minutes where plates are still up, and if they could funnel that gold into either the Misfortune or the Gnar to help him back in a little bit, that'd be pretty big.
Now, bot lane's already gotten 1, and there's 2 plates going over to them. I think they're going to be able to get 3 plates here in this bot lane, so they really need to use this gold, this Rift Herald wisely to get the gold replacement that they're losing right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cost. They sent their bot lane up to help guarantee they got the Rift Herald, but that let the other bot lane get the plates. And, if you answer back with either plates or first turret, it could end up being a worthwhile trade. But as of right now, the bot lane for Tactical Inting is up ahead a little bit.
As teams are getting their next... Now, their next buy-off is here in 45... Or next buy, sorry. The next dragon is here in 45 seconds. How would you use the Rift Herald to help secure the dragon if you're Shadowfire?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing you can do is try to get priority in one of your lanes around the dragon, either bot lane, but I really like mid lane for this, and then have your jungler drop the Rift Herald where a little bit before the dragon spawns, you're saying you have to give up your river position to go clear the Rift Herald and save your tower, or else you're just going to give us the tower. And that puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team to kind of make that decision.
Oh, Pantheon's got a nice stun in as the punch comes away and, walks right into the Amumu, but he's just going to run away. So, and it looks like Inting's, they're right here on the dragon, right as it spawns.
Yep. All ultimates are up for the side of Zenigma, though, so it'll be interesting to see if they can combo the Misfortune plus Seraphine ultimate.
Gnar does have teleport if he wants to come into this match, while Quinn does not. So we're going to see if this makes any difference. And Skarner's going to rush in there, and he's going to look to try and get a pull. Does get in onto the guy's side. Here comes the Galio Misfortune. Oh my gosh, the Wombo combo absolutely obliterates Inting as Galio's going to flash taunt in, or taunt flash in, and there's Seraphine Q damage coming out. Double kill for Misfortune, and the hit R button works absolutely beautifully.
It worked perfectly. I mean, that is the strength of these comps. They're not particularly difficult to execute, and as long as you don't get too far behind, even if you are a little bit behind in these kind of comps, just landing all your ultimates together is just... There's really nothing that Tactical Inting could do once the first ultimate landed.
Yeah, and this means that not only that, they're going to be able to get tons of tower plates. Pantheon ulting in mid lane. He's going to get onto the Skarner. Turn around. Save your tower, buddy. Save your tower.
Did get the Seraphine's flash there when he ulted, as well as Misfortune blew her flash during that fight. So they need to try to track those and look to get a play back before those come up.
Gnar had the burn flash in top lane to escape, nearly dying to the Quinn. So I think, we sort of touched about on draft, the split push Quinn really needs to do well here because the Wombo combo on the side of... That was beautiful, right? The flash Skarner pull into the Galio ult, on top of the fact that the Seraphine stun came on the Misfortune ult. It literally was just all layered perfectly on top of each other. It was really good coordination.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, the Quinn recognizes that she built the Sanguine Blade first. She didn't even go for a Mythic first sight and built the Sanguine Blade to give her that strength when she is against the one or fewer enemy champions.
Yeah, and Denny
Really
boy.
looking pop again.
But, I mean, he kind of knows that this is where he needs to be as Skarner's good this. Now, the first tower is going to go down in the bot lane. Flash, he actually comes out. There's the Skarner pull for the third time, and this is going to be the third time. Misfortune layers the ult on top of it, and the stun. Slap that Ashe. Slaps the Kai'Sa down to the death realm. Or, that didn't work very well. I should have just fountain. I would have been much better if there was the Mordekaiser in the game.
Right. Pocket that one, save it for another one. But that was a good gank, and I mean, just if the Skarner flashes on you, you can't do anything until you get the Quicksilver Sash. So that's something Kai'Sa will definitely have to get pretty early to have any chance to survive these team fights.
So is that now 3 Skarner ultis into 3 deaths? I mean, that is like using your buttons, like, you know, the efficiency very, very high right now. As Mumu's just going to walk in and... Oh, great stun into the Quinn with Vault Breakers. And, well, when you're up a full 2 levels, you get to just also hit, like, your one combo. As there's a gank down the bot line, Kai'Sa's going to go in to kill the Misfortune before she can finish off the Pantheon, as he is the one who ulted down to the bot lane. So good trading coming back from Tactical Inting. This game is going back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, Pantheon actually walked all the way down there. So, I mean, that was a smart play by him to recognize that the bot lane was overextended, especially once the tower had dropped. And then Karma did a really good job of letting her team catch up to them, as well as landing a critical root that actually denied the Galio ult mid-cast.
And fish that off. So 1-1 in Dragons, 1-1 in Towers, 6-5 in kills, and it's really just the CS lead. As it looks like Skarner's going to go back in here, try and finish off the Quinn before. Nope, never mind. Nar's going to drop down. Skarner, though, who is going to just try and shred through this Quinn, who's going to go through the blinding shot, and the Vault Breaker's not going to be able to slip away from this one. Does not have Flash or Ignite, just trying to auto her away. Pantheon ult's going to come in and maybe get the finish off the kill. Nice job by Pantheon. Cleanup duty. Get him a broom.
Good job salvaging that play a little bit. But one of the critical things from that previous play bot lane was that Kai'Sa actually got a shutdown on the Misfortune to an extra 300 gold. And that puts them a little bit closer. Kai'Sa actually has a gold lead now because the Misfortune had 3 kills, so that was looking a little dire. But with the shutdown kill, Kai'Sa's actually up about 400 gold on Misfortune.
Now, we didn't touch on the tower plates when they all dropped, but bot lane was successful pretty much on the side of Tactical Inting. And other than that Rift Herald mid, Shadowfire really hadn't taken any tower plates anywhere else prior to the 14 minutes. Now, obviously, now that's past that because we have the bot towers, tier 1s both gone, as Gnar and Pantheon maybe getting into dueling a little bit.
Quinn is roaming up there.
Pantheon goes in, and there's the Quinn, and their Vault Breaker finishing another off. Ooh, jumps away, and it looks like they're going to try and tower dive this. Nope, Mega Gnar means she's going to push everyone off. And with 2 people in the top lane, dragging up in 5 seconds, it looks like this one may be going over the Shadowfire.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is kind of a conscious decision by Tactical Inting to send the Quinn and Pantheon top to try to get that turret. They recognize they kind of need to give up the dragon, because you can't have what happened at the last one happen again. So, and when you're only down 1 dragon, you can give up a 2nd dragon. It really only gets worrying when you start giving up that 3rd dragon, and obviously the soul, the 4th dragon.
So towers traded quickly here back to, Shadowfire, and with the one standing on top, it's going to be a lot harder for people to get in here. And Skarner's just going to get the pull in on the Pantheon here. He's going to be able to put up his shield, maybe prevent some of the damage. Misfortune comes up with another wombo combo. All the R's being hit and everyone's staying alive. Galio does a nice job knocking out multiple members of the side. And Nar's going to try and get here as Quinn's here for the team fight as well in the hype of Kai'Sa. She's trying to dance her way out and vaults her way back. Flash taunt on the side of Galio, knocks everyone down, and down goes the Quinn. Nar's going to go mega, looking to maybe get in on this. Misses the flash. Slam. Not going to happen. Is a nice slow coming out on the side of Seraphine, but not enough engaged. So excellent job on the re-engage by Shadowfire.
Yeah, that looked so good for Tactical Inting at first. You know, they didn't really get that much value that time out of the Skarner ultimate. And Kai'Sa ulted in right next to the Misfortune and picked her off while she was stuck casting her ultimate. But yeah, the re-engage was just perfect, and it felt like that point, Tactical Inting was kind of just had to run. Couldn't really kill anyone there.
Excellent job, as they will be able to pick up the second Rift Herald of the game for themselves. And they only have one outer, lane left in top, and their mid lane's the one left open. So it's the easier one to defend and a relatively easy one to knock down.
Yeah, they're going straight top after getting the Rift Herald to look to drop it right here, grab the turret. You've opened up all the outer turrets at that point. This really opens up your map.
Oh, Naruto's going to go in with another ult and throws Karma back into his teammates. He's going to flash his way out and speed up, not in time. The bunny hop, flashing in on the Quinn was the Skarner ultimate, gets the slam down, is not going to be able to run away from this one as the, Rift Herald gets a second charge. Skarner has landed every pull this game for at least one kill, either on that person or for the team fight, and doing an excellent, excellent job.
Yeah, he really is, and this is the worry with the Quinn pick is just doesn't bring that much in the team fight right now, and even more so when you build the Sanguine Blade first item, you get punished for having that item and then being in a team fight, being in a group scenario. So with that being her only completed item in both the mid lane fight and the top lane fight right there, it's not bringing that much because, as everyone knows, or if you don't know, for the Sanguine Blade to get the active effect, you have to be near one or fewer visible enemy champions. So if you're in a team fight or even just two people there, that item loses a lot of its value.
So things need to get reset here as everyone goes back and starts spending their gold. Skarner's the only one with the bounty on his head on the side of Shadowfire. Kaisa still has a bounty of 200 on her side for Tactical Inting. Dragon's in a minute 45. What's the plan for each team?
Yeah, I mean, for Zenigma, Shadowfire, they just need to keep doing what they're doing. Look for the Skarner engage, look for the team fight. If I'm them, I'm playing a little bit safe until the next dragon spawns, just because you can win in that group of scenario. But for Tactical Inting, they're only down about less than 1,000 gold right now, so the game is certainly not out of reach. But you have to recognize that these team fights are not necessarily going your way, and you really need to leverage the power of your Quinn. She'll still beat the Gnar in the side lane right now. And I think potentially you might even have to give up another dragon and try to make a play to maybe collapse onto the Gnar with the Pantheon, get another tower, try to start really threatening the side lane. Because if Quinn can ever start threatening inhibitors, that's when you really do have a problem.
Well, Seraphine is on split push duty in the top lane as Quinn is looking to roam around and get on this team fight, maybe where the Seraphine support isn't quite available. But she's fast. Not as fast as Quinn, because Quinn just flies around this map, man. I mean, that's... Valor is quick bird.
Yeah, it's looking like they are opting to go for kind of a 5-on-5 at the dragon. And I don't think it's unwinnable for either team, but it's going to be crucial for Tactical Inting to dodge some of the crowd control.
Well, there is the scuttle in for, Shadowfire, as Gnar is trying to build his rage bar before this team fight starts. We're at 20 seconds before the dragon, and it's dance time, everyone. Put on your shoes. We have Seraphine. We'll see if she can play the proper notes for this team fight.
Yep, Skarner doesn't have flash this time, so his engage will have to be a little bit smarter than just kind of the easy flash engage.
Power Q. Okay, Gnar's going mega. And it looks like they're going to flash in and goes in and gets just two-man, and there's the Misfortune and Seraphine on top of each other as Skarner just getting in the back and pulls down. The Kaisa's not going to happen as, not going to happen as Kaisa flash and Galio's coming out as well. Pantheon finishing up, and it looks like Pantheon finished Misfortune off. I don't know where that happened. Is that the team fight split too far across the map to catch everything? Now as there's going to be Taunt Galio in onto the Quinn as she's going to be running on top. And we're going to go back to the other jungler here as, Skarner is onto the Pantheon, and they're going to finish this one off here as Quinn, 80 carries live. That fight was so chaotic. 3 people died, and none of them were on the screen at the same time. They were all on their own screens.
Yeah, that was a great engage by the Gnar that was followed up by the Seraphine ultimate, but after that, kind of everything broke loose. There was a lot of chaos. People running towards the bot side, people running up, and I think Pantheon might have snagged that kill either with his Ignite tick, or it might have been like a long-range Q, just kind of a fadeaway, but that's kind of just the struggle that Tactical Inting is in right now. I mean, it's just, there's so many ways for them to get that team fight, and I think they just need to kind of sell out for a split push opportunity or something like that. the Kaisa is doing good damage, and she'll only get stronger as the game goes on. So eventually, I think Kaisa herself, if she if piloted well enough, could carry one of these team fights. But right now, it's just difficult.
Yeah, it seemed just like the Amumu in the Pantheon kind of got caught up in the Wombo combo. Kaisa got flash ulted by the Skarner. So, I mean, she's building towards, it looks like a Zeal item with her items. But I haven't seen any QSSs come out yet. And I know you against the Skarner, you kind of have to pay that tax, right? That's part of the playing against the champion.
Yeah, certainly. And it feels bad to have to spend 1,300 gold, I believe, on your Quicksilver Sash. But it's crucial, especially when, the Pantheon is a threat, but he's not, going to carry the team fight on his own threat. It's really critical for this Kaisa to stay alive, and, maybe she wants to get her kind of 3 core items before she goes for it, but sooner or later you'll have to.
Well, the Kaisa and the Quinn both lived through the team fight and were able to pick up 1 kill. It's just that they both got, shredded to near death to lay out any more damage.
Yeah, Kaisa did a good job of getting out damage and using her ultimate to kind of peel herself when the Skarner ultimate duration ended. But if she has the QSS there and pops that immediately, that's just extra time. It denies her from getting dragged into a bad position, gets more damage out sooner, but they're on Skarner right now.
Yeah, well, Skarner found a Pantheon, and there's Seraphine, and Galio's coming in as well. Kaisa's actually getting in, and looks like Seraphine lays on top of him. Looks like Amumu's going to win for a 4-man ulti as well, but that's on top of Misfortune ulti. Misfortune ulti continues through, and it looks like Nard's going to jump in and try and throw out some little baby boomerangs that are going to have his Kaisa going to blast cone to safety. One more auto as one move, Ancient Yordle kills another Ancient Yordle.
Yeah, once again, it's just the Seraphine ults after Seraphine ult are just hitting at least 2 members every single time.
And the Amumu ult didn't cancel the Misfortune ultimate because it just roots you. It doesn't, stun you. So it didn't matter that she's not moving because her ultimate's laying out the damage anyway.
Yep, and it's just so hard for them to win a team fight. Maybe they need to try to get, a flank, because they're kind of retroactively engaging. They're not making the first move in any of these recent team fights. The Seraphine ult started the one at the Dragon. Seraphine ult started the one right there. So maybe if the Amumu can be the first one in, as opposed to trying to kind of ult second, they might have a little bit better luck. But as of right now, anytime the Seraphine ult starts off the fight, it's a bit of a wash.
Mm-hmm. The wombo-ness of Shadowfire has definitely shown to be at least an easier execution of a team comp at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's something to value at any level of play, is just the ease of execution for your team comp. The less buttons you have to worry about, the easier it is to do. The more you can focus on your positioning, where you need to be, when you need to go in.
So if, real quick, this is before we get more action, if Amumu Misfortune is Curse of the Sad Bullet time, what does that make Seraphine Misfortune? Because she makes you, it's like a taunt, right? It's not like the crescendo, which makes you dance. It's
the charm. It pulls you in, kind of like an Ari charm.
So is this like the bullet of, I don't know. Someone get a good name.
Yeah, ask the chat for that one.
Pawn it out, everyone. There is the charm. Brings in, right there it is. And again, Pantheon has to totally engage in onto this. And Skarner's trying to get in, does get onto the Kaisa. This is going to be absolutely bloodshed. As Amumu does get a 5-man ulti, but not enough damage coming out from him. Quinn's kind of coming on the backside, does finish off one. He's going to escape out the other side. So Misfortune goes down. Karma's left alive as well. So, eventually they get in there and they get a kill, but
yep.
It's after the buddy's already died.
Yeah, and this will not only be a push for potentially an inhibitor, but also they'll fall back to the Dragon Soul when that spawns in about 10 seconds. And it is the Cloud Soul, so it's not as game ending as say the Ocean Soul, but giving Skarner extra movement speed, having all those, they have a wombo combo comp, and now their ultimates are up even more often. It just gets even harder for Tactical Inting to kind of find a way back in.
Galio's ult is going to be, let's see. Galio ult is what? 90 seconds. Misfortune ultimate is 80 seconds. Seraphine ultimate has got to be super low too, right? 67 seconds. Skarner ultimate is 60 seconds. So literally every minute is Pantheon's going to engage in here, and it looks like it's not going to be flashes coming out. There's a great top, but Seraphine lays all the stuns in reverse. Here comes Quinn, but not enough damage as everyone's too tanky, and the help of the Baron empowered minions as well as Tactical Inting tried to engage, but it has not been very successful here as the more CC comp comes out on the side of Shadowfire, and even when they're the ones being engaged upon, just absolutely control this game.
Yeah, I think that was smart for them to kind of look for an engage there. You don't have a whole lot of opportunities at this point, just to be honest. And the Misfortune was mid, so they looked for the Pantheon ultimate, but Seraphine just flashes away from the Pantheon, and at that point she just ults, and at that point it's kind of done.
And they're sort of closing out mid and bot here. Not much more left for them to take on the map. They're going to probably try and push for the win here as everyone's coming back up on the side of Tactical. Nope, they're going to actually back off. I mean, they have Air Soul, so I mean, you'll be able to rush right back onto the map.
Right. Yeah, I think they could have went for the end there, but they just want to play it safe. They recognize that if they just play it safe and get another fight like they've been landing, there's no way they can really lose. So while I think they could have potentially ended there, playing it safe it doesn't hurt them in any bit.
As they're trying to clean up some of these things. Let's look at the score lines here. Gnar is 5-3-7. Skarner with the great, ultimate so far this game, 9-2-14. Seraphine laying the CC, setting up Misfortune at 4-1-16. Misfortune just deals the damage, right? 6-4-5. She's been the main target for the deaths in these team fights, but if she's the only one dying in the team fights, it's been pretty much done. And Galio, not being a good tank, 0 deaths, but 16 assists. So I guess hitting R in that button helps as well.
Yeah.
Just this overall score lines, they're very, very nice.
He's being a pretty good tank. He's just saying, hey, if I get low, it's on you guys to die, not me. I mean, that is a nice scoreline for him. He's been kind of bit unsung hero in this comp as well. We keep shouting out the Seraphine or the Skarner or the Misfortune ult, but the Galio coming over the top is really just kind of the icing on the cake that gives them no way to win a fight.
It means that their engage is safer, right? The Skarner in particular is not in threat, at least early on, of dying because he was getting that extra, damage reduction, armor, magic resist coming in from the Galio.
Yeah, as well as just, it kind of denies the re-engage potential from Tactical Inting, because if the Amumu then tries to go back in, at that point the Galio's going to
flash in by the Gnar, just gets 3 minutes into the bullet time in the Seraphine Sun, and there's the Galio knockup as well. It's going to double kill for the Misfortune, and Gnar's actually going to take one away, so no Penta tonight yet, and double kill actually for the Gnar. Can we get a triple on someone? Triple kill for Gnar. Never mind, Misfortune stole the Gnar's Penta, who got crushed on early, but came back. Excellent, excellent game on the side of Zenigma Shadowfire.
Yeah, they got their team comp that they wanted, and they executed it about as perfectly as you could.
Okay, so we're going to go on, slip on out of here, and we will start looking at some in-game stats here in just a moment, if it lets me pull it up. Okay, I mean, the damage... Gnar actually did a lot of damage that game. I'm surprised on how much damage Gnar did.
Yeah, he was barely in second place. I mean, it was really just a great team effort all around on the side of Zenigma. The Gnar did get behind a little bit early, but, he held his own. Didn't get too far behind to the point where Quinn had the potential to carry. So great job to him, and, I mean, really great job to all of them. Every single one of those members, at one point or another, just kind of had a team fight moment where they just had the wow moment with their ultimate.
Yeah, the Wombo combos, if it's, it was, they lined their stuff up really well. They looked pretty practiced at trying to get all of that layered CC proper and the damage on top of each other. So definitely something that it sounds like they've been at least coached through or helped with to, help establish this, and getting everything layered on top of each other sometimes can be the hardest thing, but it was very impressive in the go from there. So do you want to give a shout out for an MVP for game one, or is it too hard to decide at the moment?
It's a tough decision, but I think I'm going to have to give it to Skarner. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, well, it really could have gone to anyone, but in the early game, before they kind of got to get the very easy to hit wombo combos, every Skarner ultimate was value. Like, he was getting a kill with everyone at least early on. And really, I think every ultimate he had that whole game, he got a kill. So I would have to credit to him. He was all around the map, helping out every lane. Outside of that one top lane first play where it went a little bit rough, that Quinn got a kill, every play he made seemed to be positive.
Yeah, so we are going to kick it to an intermission, and then we will be back for game 2 in just a little bit, so don't go away. Welcome back, everyone, to Game 2. Pick ban has started. And Brewer, after Game 1, what would you like to see coming out on the side of, Tactical Inting to change? What would you change, right? Because you're the team that loses. You're the team that usually needs to change something.
Yeah, the most critical thing I think is to get the Seraphine pick away from Zenigma, as well as the fact that Tactical Inting plays the Seraphine. Their support has played it in both their wins. So definitely I think that's the very first pickable champion for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zenigma didn't actually just ban it to deny them that. But if it's open, I think you have to take that, because out of everything that made that comp for Zenigma last game so damaging, so powerful, I really think the Seraphine holds like the most critical point of that. As well as they banned the Misfortune, so they're saying not only may they potentially steal the Seraphine, they're also denying the Misfortune and saying you're going to have to come up with something different. Because there really is no ADC that fits those kind of team comps quite as well as the Misfortune.
Yeah, so the other bans, they got rid of the Malphite, who's like that team fight engage. And it looks like Shadowfire, they're going back with the Shen and the Zyra bans. There's the Skarner ban. That's a good ban as well.
Yeah, the Skarner was really strong, and Zenigma actually does end up banning the Seraphine. They know they won't get it because Tactical Inting would probably first pick it, so banning that ends up being a pretty good decision, I think. But we'll get a lot of new champions this game, because at least 3 of the champions from last game were banned away, so I'm excited to see what these teams have next.
Definitely excited what they want to.
Diana was not banned this game, but was banned in the previous game. So that ban was changed. So that's going to be interesting to see. Although, actually, if I'm looking at last game, it was Tactical Inting that banned the Diana. So it might be that both teams feel comfortable on that pick.
Yeah. Once again, we've talked about different divisions and their own metas.
Yeah.
So maybe Diana in this particular, at least team in this between these two teams, is something that they both would want to run. So I don't know if those are mid lane or Dianas, jungle Dianas. Have you seen any Dianas recently?
Diana could be jungle, but it's most likely going to be mid lane unless it's a pocket pick for Danny on the side of INT. She's definitely stronger in the mid lane right now, but Zenigma then says, hey, well, you didn't pick a Mumu, so we're going to take that from you, which fits even better in that whole Wombo style that the Skarner does. And then once again, they get that Galio, which would be a really good pick. And even this game, the Galio mid would be a good matchup into Diana. And it will be Diana mid since they picked Sejuani.
Well, if you're going to have a melee solo laner, Sejuani is a great champion to have on your team.
Oh, definitely. Sejuani, I think she's a good pick still in the right scenario, and that situation really needs at least 2 other melee champions on your team, I think. But if you pair it with like a Diana or like a Renekton in the top lane, it's so easy to gank for those characters.
Let's see what the final pick is.
Morgana.
Senna.
Oh, it's actually a Senna, not Morgana. So, the Senna is strong because, that can be the farming character in the bot lane, or it can be your support. So that'll be interesting to see where they end up putting that. But Zenigma says, hey, you didn't pick a Mumu or Kai'Sa this game, we're going to steal both of those away from you. And with Misfortune being taken off the table, Kai'Sa is definitely, in my opinion, the strongest ADC right now. So getting that's really nice. She pairs so well with teammates that can apply CC, help stack her Plasma, and set her up to ult. And they banned the Quinn, which also tells me they might want to just grab Gnar again. Say, hey, yeah, the Quinn was rough for Gnar, but if you don't have Quinn, you don't have anything to beat it. And they respond to ban Gnar, which is smart.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what the plan is. You have Senna. Do you think they go fasting Senna, or do you think they actually
that's
go?
The question.
How do they lay it all down?
Yeah, I think Senna not farming right now might actually be stronger than Senna farming. It's both are still good, I think, but I would prefer to see the Senna be the one not farming. She gets much better. She gets a lot more souls that way, and definitely still does a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think they're from one of the streams this weekend from the LCS. I believe that they touched on the fact that you need to get 100, basically getting 100 souls is the point where then Senna starts taking the CS. It seems to be like this magical line about once you get to 100, your auto range, the range on your auto attacks has been really good. And
Yeah.
is this a
Caitlyn.
dual
ADC.
ADC lane? Is this gonna be
That's
a
not something
Caitlyn
you
Senna
see
bot
every
lane?
time. Yeah, I actually usually prefer the Senna, even when she isn't farming, being paired with a support or like a tankier character. You know, back in the day when she was really strong, you see like Wukong Senna. But even Cloud9 in the LCS ran Senna with farming Tom Kinch, just because they wanted the Senna and they wanted the Senna to not be the one farming. But
Well,
comes
now
out with the set, and
you can just have two super long ranged 80 carries in the bot lane at the end game, just laying down those autos. I
yeah,
mean, Caitlyn, Senna, like, Caitlyn's a good, strong 80 carry, right? Just controls the lane with her long range. Senna can lay down the poke. So, I mean, it's one of those lanes where you're just trying to poke them out, and you have some heal, some CC. If you can land a root into a trap, that's
right.
absolutely brutal. But it just sometimes depends. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, definitely.
Galio's not going to have a fun time in bot lane. Let's just say that, right? Kaisa may be able to
No,
farm
it's-
decently, but Galio's just going to be like sad panda.
Yeah, and as opposed to being on the Kaisa last game for INT's ADC, now he's on the Caitlyn, much higher range. So hopefully he probably wants the higher range so he can try to position a little bit easier in these team fights, things like that. Because Zenigma definitely still got their kind of wombo combo, a Mumu plus Galio plus Wukong, even Lissandra going in, Kaisa jumping in afterwards is still really kind of at that core, but it's definitely not as strong, definitely not as uninteractable as maybe like having the Seraphine ult or the Skarner ult that you really just can't do anything about.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot more counterplay or outplay potential on the side of tactical here. They've set themselves up with the two ranged ADCs, the beefy Sejuani to counter engage or engage with the set. They prepared themselves for a 5v5 a lot better than they did in game one.
Yeah, and I think the set himself is actually a really good pick here because if the Amumu goes in, the set can ult the Amumu back off of his carries or ult the Galio off of the carries, even the Wukong. So I think that's a really good answer for the team fight, and I like that a lot better than the Quinn. You're recognizing, hey, we want a team fight too. And with the Diana and the set diving you, then you have your long range Caitlyn Senna. That's a very strong team fight in its own right, even if it might not be as simple, just like press it who you are.
Yeah, so definitely, I like to see the adaptations coming out from the teams in the draft and trying to stick with what works from game one versus changing your whole plan entirely because of the loss in game one. So as we do the final load in here into the match, where do you want to start? Do you want to start top, bottom, mid?
Let's start mid. I love mid lane, obviously, being a mid laner myself, and Lissandra is historically kind of thought of to be like the anti-assassin pick. She's hard to kill, team fights well, the ultimate's strong, but I actually think Diana's a pretty good pick into Lissandra. I think the Diana can bully. Oh, we might got a mispick there.
Yeah, client problems.
Start the draft over.
Yeah, this happens a lot.
It happens, Riot Games, but to continue my thoughts there, it's like the Diana can bully the Lissandra pretty hard in the one-on-one, in my opinion. I would not be surprised if AJT just doesn't take Ignite and look for like solo kills even. I think it's very doable, and when you have a Diana, which is the melee champion, with the Sejuani, that's a really strong 2-on-2. I think they should look to find the Amumu in his jungle, look to fight in the river, things like that, and that's really strong there. And then as far as maybe move like the jungle, the Amumu and Sejuani, both tanks kind of again, both just kind of, I don't think so much looking to one-on-one, looking to fight with their teams. And at the end of the day, that's just going to come down to like intelligent pathing, which I think both junglers did a pretty good job last game of being in the right spot at the right time to help out their team, set up their laners. But for Sejuani especially, you should expect her to really be hovering around that top lane, or really be hovering around mid lane, because when you're around another melee character, you stack that passive so fast.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that the pathing is going to be pretty important in this matchup. As you said, there's that weird Amumu path that you kind of talked about in game one. But at the same time, while it set Amumu behind, it really set up Quinn for that second kill, right?
Yeah,
In top lane,
it did. I mean,
it just
he
didn't go any
pathed
further.
back up there. Yeah, he pathed back up there to help her push the wave a little bit. Maybe see if he could get a gank, but Gnar was able to escape. But it let Quinn reset and get in a good position to get that second kill. But at the same time, I would have liked to see him just continue his path bot lane, look for a gank on the flashless Misfortune, something like that. So yeah, I think there was a little bit. It wasn't like the most perfect path, but I don't think it ended up like hurting them too hard. I think it's a little bit of opportunity cost of not ganking the bot lane, which allowed their bot, because their bot lane was pushed up a lot. Misfortune Galio had the Kaisa Karma pushed up a pretty good amount of that game, which would have been a pretty easy gank for a Mumu, and might have denied them the ability to get such like an early dragon.
Mm-hmm. So, as they finish this up, okay, let's just keep working our way top then. We have Wukong versus Set. Kind of the newest top laners after the Wukong rework and the Set release. They just sort of they beat on each other.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know that much about the matchups. I mean, looking at just like kind of stats on that matchup, it looks like it heavily favors the Wukong's win rate wise. But I mean, I think it's gonna be a matchup where they're gonna fight a lot. I mean, they were fighting a lot last game as Quinn Gnar, and that should happen even more this game as being double melee champions. But I do think it does end up being Wukong favorite if he plays it well. But I mean, at the same time, the Set pick I don't think was necessarily to just kind of smash lane, because the Wukong was also the last pick, the counter pick. So the Set's there for, he's still a strong champion overall, synergizes well with the Sejuani, and then really just like team fights super well. So it'll be interesting to see, because last game Bob had the upper hand in that one-on-one, whereas I do think Goreclaw and Wukong probably has the upper hand this time.
So, we've talked about mid, we talked about jungle, we could talk about top some more, but I think the people want to hear about the 380 carries and the stone statue in the bot lane.
Yeah, Galio's going to be feeling a little left out in that party with all the range that's down there. And speaking of range, it's definitely favoring the side of Cade and Senna. I mean, both those characters have pretty insane range. You have sustain from Senna to make it hard for them to ever really get pushed out of lane. You have the poke damage between the Senna Q and the Q, both really strong. You obviously have the combination of if you land either the Senna route, that's a guaranteed trap, which can end up doing a lot of damage. And I assume Senna's going to go Glacial Augment here. That seems to be like what almost everyone takes. And as the Galio playing into a Glacial Augment Senna, that's going to be tough. And the slows into the W and the traps, he's got to really position well. But on their side, at the end of the day, you're playing into two squishy characters. So if the Galio does manage to get onto either of them, he'll stack the Kai'Sa's passive pretty fast for her, so they definitely have the potential to do a lot of damage down there. But I expect them to play a little safe in the 2-on-2, wait for your jungler, wait for the team fights, because if they don't get too far behind, you know the strength of Galio picked from last game. I mean, Kai'Sa is just Kai'Sa right now. That champion just seems pretty unstoppable once she gets going.
One thing now that we have jumped into the game, there's actually been a little bit of a swap here. The classic Nut has gone mid lane with Agital 34 going 80 carry. Little role swap.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
maybe
it's interesting.
Maybe a little bit more comfort on their particular champions in these roles, trying to maybe they're looking to get a very specific team combo here. I mean, role swapping's not that.
Actually, I've played on teams where they have the ability to role swap before. It's strong, it gives you extra options in the draft. The only thing is, if your team plays together a lot, there's not really a detriment. But if you haven't been practicing a ton, sometimes getting someone else in that position Because I mean, I think the mid laner definitely controls a lot of the flow of the game through their roams and things like that. So if the synergy's not quite there, that can be a downside. But I think this team has practice with it because in one of their games in week 2, they actually swapped Danny, went to mid lane, and their mid laner went to jungle. So I mean, they've swapped twice now, having their mid laner both play jungle, mid, and now ADC. And it might be, they just really want to play the Diana pick. So it might be, that's not a pick for AJT, but it's a pick for Classic Nut. And, maybe they just wanted to kind of try something different. So I'm definitely a fan of role swapping when executed well.
And we should have been paying closer attention when they lined up in lobby. They actually lined up in this before the draft even started. So this was the casters being too excited about what was happening on our screen with the pretty colors than actually how they lined up. So this was not a mid-draft swap-a-rooney.
Yeah. No, definitely not. They kind of telegraphed it a little bit. And that makes me wonder if, was Zenigma prepared for that? Or did they even know that was on their radar? I don't know. Because, you are allowed to swap mid-draft if your intentions are good to get, like, a favorable matchup. So, but, they said ahead of time that's what they were going to do. We just didn't notice it. But I'm excited to see it now. I'm excited to see if, maybe this swaps what they need to kind of get over that hump and get a win here tonight.
Mm-hmm. So with the final countdown showing up here, we're going to hit the transition, and we'll be back in just a moment. Masaki! Now we just have to wait for the casters to finally load into this. Do you have a skin preference here? Kind of looking at everyone here.
I like that Dark Cosmic Lysandra. I haven't seen that one actually. Personally, I'm a fan of a different. I like just kind of more basic, like Terra Blue Galio, but good skins all around. To be honest, I love the Moo on the Hex deck, especially.
Okay, so I was kind of looking through chat real quick while the games were happening. So it's actually Bo Bass L.
Okay.
On the top lane, on the side of Tactical Inting, on the set, we have Danny Raboy on the Jungle Sejuani, Classic Nut on the Diana mid lane, and it's AJTL 34 on Caitlyn, and Marsa Rose. It's only game 4 tonight, guys and ladies. So yeah, on the Wukong, right into the damage, coming out. Goreclaw has to walk his way back all the way to his tower so he can get his back off on the Wukong. Memphisito Filius on the Amumu jungle. Vidra on the Lysandra, the other Ice Queen. Mid lane, slap that Ashe playing Kaisa, disappointed in you, wrong champion, and only play trees. That's not a tree, that's a gargoyle. What you doing?
One thing I'd like to note there, just kind of for everyone watching, is this happened last game as well. Tactical Inting went for an invade. And what I like to see teams do, what I would like to see maybe Zenigma consider doing in the future is when you see that invade happening on like the top side of the map right there, have one of your members or your members around the bot side just kind of walk into the jungle, put a ward down on the red buff or on the Raptors just to try to get a little free information to figure out where the Sejuani started.
Yep, definitely try and get that advantage. As now the top laners are going to run each other and. Okay, interesting to start E on the set. He must have started E when went for the invade and tried to get the pull on, though he missed. So junglers started, both started bottom, both working their way top. Does this give an advantage to any one of them?
No, not necessarily. I think it makes sense. Honestly, it's what I was surprised didn't happen last game. I was thinking they'd both do that as well. But one thing to notice is last game, Mephisto Velius on the Amumu this time is looking for the full clear, whereas last game he did the red and blue into one more camp, then went straight for a top deck. So it's looking like a bit slower of a clear for both junglers this time around. looking for that full clear. They'll probably end up around top lane at the same time, and it'll be interesting to see if that's when we get our first action.
Very interesting. It looks like maybe the Caitlyn and the Senna got to lane a little bit later because they got pushed in on by the Kai'Sa and Galio. So, ooh, goes right in. This Diana being aggressive early.
Yeah, I think that's what she has to do. You know, Classic Nut took the Ignite, kind of like I thought they might, and definitely has kill potential on Lysandra. Lysandra critically chose to go for the Electrocute as her keystone, whereas some players might go for like an Aftershock. But without having the Aftershock, Lysandra's definitely a lot squishier. The Diana definitely has kill potential.
So I will be hitting number 5 key today, trying to everyone see how many souls the Senna sticks on. She currently is at 8. I don't know what rate you're supposed to get souls on support Senna. So hopefully 8 is a good number at 3.5 minutes.
You know, I think the main thing, which is the nice thing about playing Senna into someone like the Galio, the melee character, should give her a lot more stacks just from Q and auto than she would in like double ranged. Mumu is actually choosing to back up here, which might have guessed that he'd be warded out if he tried to gank right there, probably wouldn't get anything, but Sejuani's also looking to kind of just back off, kind of play it slow.
Now Sejuani actually went and got the Scuttle Crab before getting blue buff, so...
Yeah, that does put her, like, she's only level 3 right now, she'll be level 4 after she completes this buff, but, you know, I don't know, getting the Scuttle there, she kind of has pressure from both her lanes, that is a safe bet, and it denies the Amumu the ability to kind of sneak between those lanes early on, but he recognizes that and goes for the bottom.
Well, I want to say that I think the Classic Nut definitely shown a lot more prowess on this Diana pick here in mid lane, pushing Lysandra out of lane. 5 minutes made her burn all of her corrupting potion, push her out of lane without even burning a single potion herself.
Yeah, well played by her, and you know she'll probably look to get a reset now since she is pretty low on mana, and at that point I think she'll probably start hunting.
Oh, great bandage toss into the Galio taunt as the flash heal is actually going to keep the Kai'Sa alive with the cute note. Ignite finishes her off. So close.
Well, I thought she was going to barely live that when that Cynic Q came through at the very end, but the Ignite with the last tick, and yeah, they kind of just moved up in the river, knowing Amumu was there without their own jungle. Maybe just felt a little too overconfident there.
Man, this direct-to-cam loves top lane when nothing's happening. Come back up here when they're fighting, camera. Let's go check on something else, right? I guess nothing else is happening on the map. Never mind. We can stare at minions. So, after some first back, as I know the Ignite was able to get the first blood onto the Galio, but there's our 4 long swords coming into that bot lane now.
Yeah, they're definitely... Lane's definitely not lost by any means, you know. They definitely still have the range advantage and really the damage advantage early on, for sure. One thing I want to note is the Set has gotten himself to a huge farm lead early on. It'll diminish a little here with Wukong finishing up that wave, but about a 20 CS lead in what we thought was going to be a favorable matchup for Wukong.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wonder if the guy just gotten off, like, 1 or 2 better trades. Like, if you just get off those trades better on the side of the Set, and then you have your shielding and your just passive better regeneration, health regeneration, than the Wukong sort of sets you behind it. The fact that Wukong went Conqueror instead of going, you know, something a little bit more damage-focused for an all-in, trying the more sustained damage, and if you just use smaller trades, Set's going to win those.
Yeah, definitely.
So the mid laners are 6, top laners are 6, the junglers are 5, bot laners are 4, 5 on the carries. I mean, other than this sort of the one overstep on the side of Tactical Inting, this has been a very slow-paced, first 7 minutes here.
Yeah, I would love to see Diana get super aggressive here, because even though Lysandra has ultimate, if Diana gets a nice engage with her E and then uses her own ultimate, if Lysandra R's herself, Diana will probably finish her when she comes out. If Lysandra R's the Diana, she might end up just having to flash away anyway. There we go.
Let's see here. Dragon? Q not going to be enough, so good job on Lissandra flashing and ulting to escape. And the bot lane pushing up, actually. So Set's going to slam the Wukong back into the tower. And there's the second ult coming out and dashing in under tower. One auto flashing out. So Wukong takes the better trade because of the longer extension of that one. It wasn't just it was an all-in instead of just the pokes.
Yeah, you're seeing the strength of the Conqueror right there once he gets it fully stacked. Very well played to the Wukong. Set without his W there at the end just kind of didn't have anything he could do. His ultimate didn't quite get Wukong under the tower. It kind of just put him into the wall, unfortunately for him, but he's looking to run him down.
And I think he can pretty much escape as soon as he goes, but the help of Amumu coming up here. Flash Qs and gets in here. It does have ultimate if it wants to trigger us on out. Set can, throws out the Haymaker. He'll be able to stay back up, but Amumu left the, Shelly, followed him all the way to top lane and then ran back down. So at least the teleport prevented the Rift Herald going over without even really realizing that's what you were doing.
Yeah, while that was going on, only placed trees on the Galio got a really nice engage on the Caitlyn out of a bush, and she had to end up blowing her flash.
Good job, and Amumu is going to bandage toss in here onto the Sejuani, and it looks like Shadowfire probably can, engage in here. It's a 3 versus 2 at the moment. She's so far set, does not have anything. Can Set ult? Nope, Set doesn't have anything. Engage, no.
I would really like to see Tactical Inting go for a fight here. When you have the Diana ultimate and the Sejuani ultimate, I think they might have played that a little too safe.
Oh, well, maybe, but then not safe enough as Diana actually will go back in here. Set's going to pull in. There's the Sejuani ult on top of Lissandra ult as everything goes, and Wukong's going to go in and flash out as Diana trying to get all the damage down, but now Mumu bandage toss back in. Here comes the Galio from bot lane. He walked to mid lane for this. The recommunication flash in on Galio with the taunt and bandage toss, and now that's a slain boar. Kaisa, where did Kaisa come from?
Yeah, we saw that last game.
Kaisa walked all the way up to mid lane and then walked through mid lane to the blue buff to kill the Diana on the way out. Oh my gosh, the communication on the side of Shadowfire right now is very impressive. The fact that bot lane, 2 games in a row now, have sacrificed tower plates to help out getting the Rift Herald.
Yeah, last game it didn't result in any kills for them. It just guaranteed the Rift Herald. But that game, at that time, really turned to that fight. And that's why I would have liked to see the side Tactical Inting going a little bit sooner to deny. If Galio doesn't get there with his ultimate and Kaisa doesn't get there, I think that fight could go a lot better.
Uh-oh. Set's in trouble.
Oh, Set.
Never mind. Set gets 1 kill, gets 2 kill. Can he get the triple? Lissandra's going to E out. Now the Rift Herald is not going to take the tower, but, nice job. Saving the tower, getting some kills. Trying to prevent his tower from going down anyway?
Yeah, that was well played by Set to kind of get something back there. Nice ultimate into the W combo, but yeah, you saw the power of the Diana. The Diana almost won that fight. I really think they need to try to pair the Sejuani a little bit more. Like, get her in a fight, because she was a little late to that because she kind of walked away. There was a little miscommunication. It's like Sejuani didn't want to fight. She walked away, but then Diana went in anyway, so Sejuani's walking back. If they're on the same page there, going at the same time, they have 2 characters that stack that passive so fast.
Well, Diana's looking for a roam bot lane, maybe?
I think that'd be smart.
Oh.
Kaisa didn't have flash.
Oh, Caitlyn just goes in, gets taunted by the Galio, and there's going to be the snare on the side, and there's the Diana jumping in. Nice, gets both of them in the room, and Sejuani then gets the ice pillar, or whatever her icy thing is, where she makes you a giant icicle. And this is going to be plates going over to the side of the 80 carries, and Dragon's up in 36 seconds, 35 seconds, so maybe, returns for a Dragon fight.
Yeah, that was a great play. That's exactly what I wanted to see out of the Sejuani and the Diana.
Set.
And
hold on for dear life.
Did a great W there as well in that fight that we should call out.
Yes, setting that all up, and then the fact that Galio had to get in there to try and taunt. Everyone actually pulled Galio right on top of that the root. Set is actually trying to tank these minions so they do not get in on the tower. Amumu gank bot though.
Ooh.
Misses the bandage toss and then steps on the trap.
Yeah, that was very close. That's the power of that Senna E to kind of let you escape when you get inside there. That extra little burst of movement speed allowed them to dodge out on the bandage toss.
Now, Wukong is down 20 CS, but have a finished item here, and it looks like Set is going to land the W, but nope, there's the double ult from Wukong. Just too much damage on a completed Gore Drinker, right? To Set with no, nothing, right? Even if they're the same level.
Yeah, if he had the completed Blade of the Ruin King, which he has now, maybe that goes different.
Well, Mumu goes in for the bandage toss right after the Lissandra ult, and it looks like Diana is going to run away. No, but it goes right back in with the help of Senna ult as well. Here comes the Caitlyn ult. Going to happen. Galio ult is going to come in, knock up that's where the Mumu used to be. No longer there. Senna is here. It looks like the bot lane for both people is Senna is here drawing down the W. Caitlyn's going to lay down some auto attacks. Sejuani did drop in that counter fight. So this time, Tactical Inting is the first one of their bot lanes to try to help out with the mid lane fight. But,
Right.
Senna ult may be global, but that's not as powerful as Galio showing up.
Yeah, you can't beat even if they did have kind of like the first move, but the guy is going to beat you there every time with his ultimate if that's available. So that was a nice re-engage though by the side Tactical Inting with the Sejuani and the Diana ultimate. Almost got both of them. If the Lissandra had not had flash, that would have been an easy double kill.
Well, the first tower did go to the Wukong, so surprisingly down. When was the last time you saw someone down 20 CS and up 1,000 gold? Right?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know enough about the matchup to really say if maybe he got behind early because it is a matchup you kind of got to play safe for. He's obviously winning it now in the one-on-one, but it'll be interesting to see if Sek can turn that back a little bit. He opted to complete a Bramble Vest after his Blade of the Ruin King, so that'll deny some of Wukong's healing, see if that can help him turn it in his favor. But really, I think what Set wants to do is kind of get out of the one-on-one with the Wukong and look to just try to be more impactful in the team fights.
Yeah, well, we may see a team fight coming up here relatively quickly. The Ocean Drake is number 2 on the map. People are starting to get towards that near 11, so we may get some, the top laners anyway have their level 2 ultimates, but if one of these mid laners can get level 2 before the other, it could be pretty impactful here, as it looks like, Tactical Inting, they've started up, they got it down to a quarter health. In comes the side of, and Bandage Toss comes, and he actually smite steals away, and no, just not enough coordination. Flash out, and Lissandra's gonna, Blast Cone saves, nope, not in time, as, Diana trying to run away, Senna trying to run away, Wukong gonna flash over, and knock up Senna, who's now turned into that ghost to try and deal the damage. Set did not teleport in, didn't walk down as well. So while 3/5 of Tactical Inting, they were there and on the dragon together. Just the top laner and the mid laner just were like a little bit behind a step behind, right?
Yeah, that was intelligent of Goreclaw to recognize that was going to be the fight to walk down. Definitely would have liked to see the Set TP in a little bit sooner. Because I do think that was a winnable fight, and the smite barely went the way of Mumu. It was a nice steal by him. But yeah, I would have liked to see them try to fight that a little more coordinated. It felt like 3 of them were on the dragon, and the solo laners were either not on the same page or just didn't realize the urgency with which they needed to be there.
And this stuff, as you just sort of said, layering the communication needs to be. There's room for improvement from both of these teams, but it seems that, at least let's put this in a different term. Shadowfire, they're running at the same tempo, right? They're running all in the same tempo, and just Tacticals just seems to be offbeat, just slightly offbeat. They're just not quite there, right?
Yeah, they've had really good moments, but the moments that haven't been as good have felt not because it was a misplay necessarily from someone, or just I don't know. It just felt like they weren't just all there, because their comp when all together is so strong. I think if they get on that same page, which I think they can this game. I really think they can end up coming back here. They're only down 2.5k gold right now. 1-1 in dragons, only down 1 tower.
Yeah, there's definitely the opportunity for a good comeback here. And they have, like I said, all the ability and capabilities to come back in this match. And they can definitely finish this one out, as it looks like maybe the push in on this mid lane is the next call here, as Rift Herald is up. If they wanted to try and pick that one up. Never mind. They're going to go for the Senna. And Kais is just going to straight all in. Yeah, that's a support Senna. Just getting absolutely blown up completely by Gourd Drinker, or not a Gourd Drinker, Kraken Slayer Kaisa. That is a few levels up on her.
Yeah, that's the power of Kaisa. You know, she's just so strong right now. Does so much damage. And yeah, when that W lands on you, if you're a Swift character, you better pray she doesn't have vision to ult.
So that allowed them to, looks like they're going to start the dragon. Wukong's going to ult in onto the Caitlyn, and it's just too early as she only has the one item. The trap does help, and here comes the Senna ult back up in time. It's Diana's going to go in, but the double knockup is going to happen as Caitlyn ult's going to happen. She's not going to have enough damage. Diana's trying to deal everything out as well, trying to finish this one up. Not going to happen. Just too much damage coming out on the side of this Wukong and Amumu.
Yeah, the Wukong is just so strong right now, and the Amumu as well got a really nice ultimate up there. Interesting, he went for kind of the Frostfire this game. You know, traditionally it was everyone's going for the Sunfire, but you know that item did kind of, I think, fall to the wayside a little bit with the buffs to Chemtank and Frostfire's Gauntlet. So it's interesting to see him kind of go for that one.
And looks like Senna's trying to get in. Flash taunt by nothing. Second charge coming in. And that's going to do a nice amount of damage. So this game is really starting to swing in favor of, you know, Shadowfire here. What does, you know, what can Tactical do in the next, I don't know, 5 minutes? I mean, do you just give up this dragon again?
Yeah, I think you give this dragon up. It's only the second one as a cloud. I really don't think it's the end of the world. That is one thing that I've noticed that some teams, particularly maybe at the lower divisions, don't always realize, is that sometimes it's fine to just give up a dragon, give up a Rift Herald. I mean, if your team just isn't strong enough to fight that one, there's no point of going for a fight where you have a 20-30% chance of winning. If you can just give up one dragon, farm, scale, maybe get a tower on the other side of the map, and then recognize that eventually, if this game goes long enough, Senna will be strong. The Diana's already landing some pretty good ultimates, so I would see them potentially giving this one up. They do have set with teleport, so they could look to kind of TP down, but I think they're looks like they're giving it up. Oh, Set's
Never mind.
TPing.
Set's coming in with the TP. Let's see how this one goes. It looks like they're going to go in there. He's going to miss the pull, but the bandage toss does get on. As Caitlyn is getting distracted by the Wukong, and he's going to throw out with the shield. Not going to happen as Lysandra has actually gone into her stasis. Diana looked to go in on the side, but it's not going to happen. She's getting jumped on by the Mumu and the Wukong. She's going to flash out as the Sejuani is left on the complete other side. So we talked about coming in as a team. As Wukong's actually going to go over, tries to flash in onto the Caitlyn. He's going to finish up, and Galio is going to ult in, and here comes Sejuani over the wall as Diana will get the shutout. Comes out as enough as Amumu will take down the dragon, and there's the Sejuani ult finishing off the stun. It looks like he's going to Falcon Punch his way out of there, but it's not going to happen as we get more stun CCs coming out of there. Caitlyn ult comes out as well. It heals from stun, and not going to be enough damage. They're going to have to run away in the mist.
Yeah. I was wrong. I thought they were going to try to give that one. They did choose to fight, and it's not that I think it was an unwinnable fight, but part of the reason I was so certain they were giving it up was when Set chose to teleport, the Sejuani was on the Wolves, and the Diana was in mid lane, and he TP'd about 3 seconds before the dragon spawned, and, you know, just as a general rule, if you're going to contest an objective, your team needs to be there in force at least like 30 seconds in advance. At a minimum, to try to make sure you have vision, try to make sure you're all on the same page, roll up the opportunity. So that once again felt a little distinct to me. I don't know if that was Set feeling like, you know, they need to fight it and calling he's got TP and then Sejuani trying to have him get there, but I don't know. They're not going to win a team fight if they're not all there at the same time.
Yeah, and Wukong's just going to go right in onto this Set right now, just even though Set lays. Oh! Well, this is what happens. I mean, like, there's this, and I think Set, he's just straight fighting. It looks like he's going to have to flash ult, and looks like maybe he's going to try. Amumu's going to come up here for the kill. Set trying to run it out. Dunks! Not going to happen. Wukong with the 1v1. Amumu with the assist. Sejuani comes in, trying to do some cleanup damage here. As Senna ult came out as well, Amumu's going to get this. And here comes Kaisa. And Slap That Ash has gone absolutely dominating. I mean, he has the the Kraken Slayer and the Collector. I mean, just so much damage coming out of this AD carry right now.
No, definitely doing a lot of damage. And that was actually a pretty close 1v1. It just barely went the way of the Wukong. And once his teammate got up there wasn't really much Set could do. And they pick up the Baron and...
Oh, just the very edge! Oh, the very edge of that taunt coming out on the side of Galio. So, excellent job.
That's the Kim Tank Galio. He, I've not actually seen that one before, but the Kim Tank Galio gave him kind of the move speed there to run her down and get in that taunt. That's actually, I kind of like that. That's kind of an interesting build choice.
Well, Galio, slows himself with the with his taunt. So, I mean, if he wanted to really speed himself up, he should go Boots of Swiftness, so it doesn't slow down as much, and the Chem Tank, and just all be running up in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the towers still stand. Caitlyn is on 1 item, hasn't got to 2 yet, and Caitlyn really, if you're not bullying at that, in laning phase, it takes a while, right? You pretty much have to have 3 completed items and, boots to get to that late game power spike, right? Sejuani's going to go in here, field goals it right between the uprights, but that's not where you want to throw it in this game, as, Baron Power minions are taking towers.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
A nice attempt to try to get a fight when they're split up, but
Sun is
they are
dead.
trying to collapse onto the Kaisa.
Where are we going here? Left, right? At least Tactical is grouped as 5 right now. Is Wukong going to go in? Galio comes in. Amumu on the backside. Looks like a 3-man ulti comes up. And all the damage comes up. And oh my gosh, the game.
It froze for me too.
I think that means it's over. Right? Can you... I got this. I got the screen up. Can you check to see if it's over? If this is the spectator bug? So if the game ends in 3 minutes and they leave sometimes, it just stops the match wherever you're watching it, and you don't get to watch the final 3 minutes.
Oh, they FF'd someone in the chat said they chose to.
Okay, so I think they just get wiped here, right? This is definitely...
Yeah.
They're just going to get wiped after that. I mean, all of the CC and the damage, and they're so far ahead. Pretty much the end of that.
That was a great combination.
So we're not going to hover on that anymore. We will slip on out of here. It is going to be a 2-0 this evening over to the side of... it's not going to even let me...
It's Enigma.
Enigma, yeah. Sorry. It's not going to let me connect to see stats either, so we'll throw it to the intermission screen, and we'll see if anyone wants to get in here for an interview on the side of Zenigma. Yeah, so the spectator bug sometimes just absolutely makes casting these things an absolute...
I've not seen that one before. That's definitely a little... I thought that was just me for a second. I got a little worried.
No, yeah. So we're going to have someone springing up in here. And welcome, Goreclaws. Congratulations on the 2-0.
Thank you.
Let me just adjust your volume here so people can hear you. So, real quick, how do you think about the match?
It was going pretty well. We kind of just started snowballing the lead after the early game. They really couldn't handle us in the early game. We just made more proactive plays than they did, and they were just more reactive.
Yeah. So, real quick, coming into this match, did you guys get the drafts that you were looking for?
Actually, pretty much, yeah. We, first game we got the Seraphine that we wanted, and then the second game we got the Mumu we wanted.
So the Mumus and Seraphine contested picks for both the teams, right?
Yes, they were.
Is there anything else in the drafts that either surprised you or didn't think you were going to get?
I really didn't think people would actually pick a Senna into this, because Senna's just barely starting to come back up in the meta. So I actually didn't think that they'd pick Senna.
Okay, that's surprising.
I'm curious, what's your thoughts on maybe like the Wukong versus Set matchup? Because it did look like eventually the Wukong just kind of took over. You did, but you did fall pretty far behind in CS early. Is that just kind of the nature of the matchup?
Oh yeah, I didn't want to even try brawling him because he has way better trades than I do as a Set because of his W. So I didn't care if I lost CS as long as we could get to the team fights because we just win the team fights.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely looks to be. Would you say that your team's kind of style is to go for that super strong 5-on-5? I mean, both games
Oh, yeah.
kind of just wombo combo after combo, just kind of wiped them.
Yeah, our team fight synergy is actually really well. We work on it quite a bit actually. So it's just our team comp that we work really well with.
Great.
Sorry. No, yeah. So talk about the season so far. Like, just I mean, it's your guys' second match.
Yeah.
I know you guys had a bye in one of the first 2 weeks here. Is it? I mean, you guys are 4-0. Has it gone well? I mean, obviously it's gone well because you've won games, but like,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like, has it been what you've expected so far out of your team?
Yeah. It's I definitely we have organized practices, so we get on with practice. Everyone works hard. We talk about meta all the time, and we actually we work on what draft we're going to go into like a week before the match. Like we already work on drafts and what we want to play that week.
It's good. Good to hear. You get some scouting out, coming out on these teams. Is there? You have 2 matches left here. Is there one match in particular you're looking forward to?
Not particular. I'm just happy to play.
Okay, that's good to hear. Do you have anything else, Brewer?
I guess I'll just say, I'll ask you this. You know, they banned Malphite against you both games. Is that like one of your pocket picks, or is that just they don't want the team fight? Is there anything you're excited, wanting to play? Not to give anything away.
I mean, our last games that we played, I definitely did dominate on the Malphite, so I wonder if they just seen that and they just ban it. But they could also be scared of the Malphite because Malphite's in a really good position right now, just because the team fight's super strong with the R.
Right, definitely.
And then I'm excited for the Riven stuff coming. I'm a pretty big fan of playing Riven, so with the Riven buffs, I'm hopefully I can bring her out.
Oh, nice. Hopefully, like one of those games gets casted. I look forward to seeing that. Riven's always an exciting champion.
Yeah, it's always a hit or miss with her.
Definitely.
So I want to thank you for stopping by with us tonight, and congratulations on the 2-0.
All right, thank you.
There we go. Okay, Brewer, it's been a long night. What was your overall feeling of this match here?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match overall. I thought both teams had really strong moments. I think both teams have things to improve on, but also things they can look at and say we did that well. I think Zenigma especially can come away from this match. Obviously, anytime you get a 2-0, you get great. Yeah, I think if they weren't already, it sounded like they definitely feel solidified in their identity. If they weren't already, they definitely are now. And, you know, I'm excited to see kind of where both these teams go. You know, Tactical Inting does fall to 2-4, but they at least have, I guess, it'd be one more match to kind of try to round it out. And it'll be interesting to see both these teams where they go from here. And look forward to seeing them in playoffs, hopefully.
Yeah, so Demacia division only having 5 teams, they actually will be running a gauntlet playoff. So everyone's fighting for seeding, and you know, if trying to get that top spot for Zenigma, or just trying to get as high as you can on the side of Tactical there to get in best position to take home the tournament at the end. So this is going to be the sort of sign off for tonight. We have the YouTube channel where all the VODs are up. If you also go and check out the playlists, we have tools if you need help running the website video that got posted earlier in this week. We have the pentakills. We've already had 3 pentakills on stream this season. All of those are in the highlights playlist, as well as all the division games. You can go to your division that you want to watch and see whatever games have been on stream. Tomorrow night, who do we have tomorrow? Someone's on it for tomorrow. I will be doing some vodcasting on Tuesday, and I need to look to see which games. We're trying to get all the teams on stream this season. So, as much as we can. It looks like we actually have Sneaka and Requiem back. They were here earlier this afternoon. They have a Freljord match between Elf Army Gaming and Kamikaze Penguins tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So definitely looking forward to that, as Kamikaze Penguins definitely follow their name in the Kamikaze part, not the Penguins. And Elf Army Gaming, some of those players that sound very familiar. And I think they've been on, maybe they've been on stream before. There's a lot of teams in this season between all the different divisions, so some of the teams get mixed up. But I'm excited to see definitely that match, and then we'll see what happens on Tuesday, and then and after that, then we're in the week 4.
Yeah, it's been a good season thus far, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Lots of great games to be played and casted.
Yeah. So, thank you, Brewer, for joining me this evening, and everyone have a good night and enjoy the week.